Well, I got the parts in for the 4000. It's a wet, rainy day. It's not raining now. So I've got some stuff and I'm gonna take the old F-150 in case it starts raining and I gotta have a dry place to jump into. And we're gonna head across the creek and see if we can't fix this thing. At least get it to a point where I can drive it back to the shop. Let's hope we don't get stuck crossing the creek. Come on, baby. I'll put it in 2 low. I don't have 4-wheel drive. Now I gotta go up on top of Chigger Hill. Well, she's still here. No worse for wear. I didn't bring the hub, the wheel. I figured by the time if I got this spindle and stuff off, I'd be ready to take a break and I'd go back and get it. So what I think I'm gonna try to do is disconnect the tie rod, steering knuckle, and slide the whole front axle out. Take it back to the shop and work on it in the shop. Then bring it back and put it on the tractor. So let's get ready and do that. Well, I've got this far. I've got the bolts for the axle loosened, but they won't come out because they're hitting the tie rod. This is just spinning. Won't come loose. So I've decided to take the whole knuckle off. And I've got it up this far. Just take a 3/4 or a 1/2 inch bolt. One of my pet peeves is when people say, I use a 3/4 socket as a 3/4 bolt. It's not. Anyway, so I gotta beat this down and get it out. Take this knuckle off, and hopefully this whole axle will just slide out. All right, let's see what happens. Ah, beautiful. Oh, and there she is. All right, we got back to the shop here. I'm gonna pull the spindle out and then clean it up. I don't think I have any. I might have some blue paint. I might give it a coat of paint, clean it up good. I want to paint this knuckle that's exposed before I put it on the new one on the tractor anyway, but I got to get this key out and let it, and it should slide out the bottom, but it won't with this key in it, so let's do that first. So this key does not want to come out, and I'm pretty sure I can get another one, and this spindle's already foobarred, so I'm going to take the grinder, I'm going to cut the end of this spindle off, and let that thing slide out. I've been beating and heating, I got the matte gas on it for quite some time, and it will not budge. I think it's a Woodruff key. It's what it looks like in the new one. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off, get this out. I'll try again with it out where I can get a little bit more room to work, but for now, I ain't going to mess with it. All right, let's see what we got. And there she is. Well, we got her flipped over in the vise, and we got the bearing out, or what's left of it. Got the new one right here. It's gonna fit right in there. Now I've got to get these 2 bushings out. There's one right here. You can't see it, but there's one on the bottom side, and I got new ones. There's technically the bottom, and this one goes in the top. So I'm gonna try to beat those out and see what kind of luck we have. So I'm taking these bushings out, and I'm just gonna basically destroy the bushings that are in there. I scrape the edge, find the edge, and I'm just gonna beat the screwdriver in behind it. You don't want to mess up the spindle hub, spindle housing. And we're just gonna collapse the old ones. This one's pretty thin and wore out. You can just barely see the ridge in there, that little line. That's where the grease, so the grease can get in there. But it's pretty thin, pretty wore out. So we're just gonna beat this one out, flip it over, and beat the other one out. All right, we got the top one out. It's a split bushing, so we found the seam and just kind of split it. It popped out. This other one's a split bushing too. It's kind of hard to see. There's a line right here. That bushing is split. So we're gonna try to do the same thing on this one. Well, after much cussing, much beating, and many broken screwdrivers, I finally got this one to come apart. I couldn't get it to come apart at the seam. It finally broke after I got behind it down here, but every time it started to peel the bearing open, it would break it off and just break that piece off. So once I finally got behind it, split it twice, start peeling it back, it finally come out. And I probably should have mic'd it. It might have worked. It's in much better shape than the upper one, but I'd already started beating on it, and I was like, all right, it's messed up now. I gotta get it out. I did scar up the cylinder a little bit. Let's see right there on the bottom. Gouged it up a little bit. I didn't want to, but that's what I had to do to get it out. So I got this sanding disc on the drill. I got it in there trying to polish it out a little bit. All right, we're still working on this spindle. I had took it to work in hopes of using the press to press it in. I worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I was taking Saturday and Sunday off, so I only had Friday, and I ended up not having time to do that. So this top one was a test run. I used a piece of thread rod and put this socket on it and some washers and drove that thing down in there. My first piece of thread rod broke. And so I got another one and finished it. It's pretty good. I'd like to get it seated a little bit back in there more, but honestly, the socket's too big to go down in there. I'm not sure I can seat it in there anymore or not, but I got to flip it over and do the other side. But before I do, I'm actually going to put some of this buffing compound on one of these flapper discs and try to polish it up some more. All right, I'm pressing in this bottom bushing. Flip the spindle upside down. This is what I got. I got a washer here because when I tried to push the top one in with this one, it actually, because that's a split bushing, it tried to pull inside the bushing and tried to split it a little bit. So I put a washer on that one. Put a washer on this one. I just got a piece of thread rod and some washers on the bottom. The hardest part is trying to keep the thread rod straight, but it's going. I polished it, put some of this polishing compound on this, and it really did a good job on the inside. I probably should have done that on the bottom one, but it's too late. Hindsight is always 20/20. So I'm gonna keep cranking on it and hopefully get it in. All right, it's a little bit of a struggle, but we got it in there. I got it seated down in there. A little bit of a gap, and then the thrust bearing will go in here. We have to seat it in there. Also put, well, that sucked. I also put a lot of oil in there when I was pushing it in. I used 3-in-1 oil. That's what I had to give it plenty of lube as we forced it in. So But she's in there. Only thing left is to put it on the tractor. All right, we're back here in the field with the tractor. I got the axle slid in. It's not bolted in. I wanted to have some play so I could get this arm back on. I've got to slide it in. I've got a Woodruff key to go in it. I didn't adjust anything. It should go right back up to where it was. We'll have to. It's gonna be hard to hold it up in there and get that arm on, but we'll see how it goes. All right, well there she is. It was a real pain in the ass. I ended up having to go back to the shop and give me a good wedge to wedge into this, to open it up to get it back on there. I got it on there the first time and then realized I left the dust cover off, so I had to take it back off. There were a few choice words threw around, directed at myself, but now it's on there. I put grease on it and the bushings before I put it in there. I bought my grease gun. I'll pump it full of grease. So now we've got to put the wheel back on. I'm using the same bearings. I did not order another dust cover, but I'm not gonna let that. I gotta get this thing out of the field back to the shop. So we're gonna go ahead and put it together and roll with it for now. And we'll see about getting a dust cover. All right, we got the wheel back on. Everything should be ready to go. We'll see if she'll crank. All right, we got her dropped down. Let's see if she'll crank. Come on, baby. Come on, oh, get out of gear. Yeah, she rolled back a little bit. I got scotches underneath the back. Come on, baby. All right, let's head to the house. All right, we're done. We got her back home. I'm gonna reuse the old dust cover. I pulled it off the old spindle. It's in really good shape. It looks fine. So sometime I'm gonna tie her up and take it off and put the dust cover on. And I know the thrust bearing is destroyed on this one. So when I get some money, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the new spindle and everything on it too. New bushings, new everything on it too. So it's on the list. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you want to, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.